Obviously today is a culmination of many late nights and long days, but we're super happy and proud to be here. So we really decided to take a different track this year with the new fronts. As one of the founding partners, and we were in from the very beginning, we really built upon a television model where we would get a slate of programming, bring our stars out, show the programming, and you never heard from us again. And I think what we wanted to do this year was really connect to the idea that the consumer is now consuming content really 365 days of the year on all devices, all shapes and sizes. So we really wanted to map a new front strategy to the new reality of how people are consuming content. When it comes to the new realities of distribution, we think OTT is a super important piece of the distribution puzzle really over the next 5 years, at least from the consumer's perspective, one of the most important pieces. I think there's about 150 million OTT-enabled devices towards the end of this year. So it's a big audience. It's really a signal that the cable has unbundled, and I think AOL and its brands can take advantage of that. So between partnerships, some of which you'll hear tonight, between creating content that's 365, for all sorts of devices, not one device squashed down, and really, the digital, really in the first phase, you'll hear me talk about this tonight, of the digital revolution. Content escaped the living room and kind of went out into all sorts of devices, of which you've been on many. But now it's kind of like second phase, it's going back into the living room, and it's going back in its own terms. So we're excited, and we think AOL can take advantage with its brands of the new reality of content on all screens. Fitting with this idea of content 365, where we're making kind of short form content built for mobile social screens, mid form content built for desktops and tablets, and ultimately longer form engaged content built for OTT devices. So an example of some of the short form content we're doing would be a show that we launched about in January called AOL Rise. So AOL Rise is a 2-minute morning show. So literally, if you took the Today Show and you squashed it into 2 minutes, what would it look like? We're doing a short form sports show called 2 Point Lead. We're doing, documentaries, which you'll hear about announced today with HuffPo, with AOL. And we're doing a bunch of what look like our typical originals from the last 2 or 3 seasons, like Park Bench is coming back for a second season, Making a Scene with James Franco is coming back for a second season. So really a mixture between in-house shows that we're making ourselves live, daily, snackable, mid-form, story-driven, celebrity-type shows with names you recognize, and then longer form, more engaged content, whether it be a Maker's documentary, whether it be a HuffPo docu-reality series. So really the broadening the gamut, leveraging our brands, because we have a lot of great brands in-house, and really going after storytelling for specific devices. And I think that last piece is important. Storytelling is like the binding agent for all this. Just because there's new platforms and just because there's new technology doesn't mean you kind of take a pass on a great character and a great story. And I think sometimes in the quote digital world, I think we feel technology, is a good proxy for a story, and it's not. So we believe, that no amount of technology can make a good story, bad story good. So basically, different forms driven by great storytelling and great characters. So that comes back to the idea we talked about of, the best of television and the best of digital combined. We're not one of these digital companies that kind of, hates on television. And you've had enough interviews in your time where you're like, these guys are going after television and these guys are going after digital. Well, consumers don't make that distinction. Consumers love their iPhones, love their televisions, love their iPads. So we're like, hey, you know what? We're not going to be part of that. We're pro-consumer, so let's make shows that fit all those devices. I think you've seen the evolution where, at least in, say, non-living room spaces in terms of television, social has really grown to be the strong force inside of video. So discovery remains the big gateway, which it always has been, but if you're not really part of the social conversation, you're not really part of it. Search is still important, but I think social is building over search. And ultimately, it's about distribution and partnership. So if you can get on those screens, I mean, if you look at the way cable grew up, and I come from cable, if you got that low channel number in the first, and you and I are, unfortunately old enough to remember that, but if you get that channel number, it's shelf space in the dawn of a new distribution model, which is really what we're in. So I would say, look, social is a big force, and you can't have a content strategy today without social. Partnerships will define everybody as we go forward. So I don't know if one single company can just go the whole way alone. So partnerships and OEMs and strong relationships with hardware manufacturers, and and ultimately tried and true and good old-fashioned marketing is still going to be around for a while, I think.